shining a beacon on the bazaar. Hey up, Arcade! I'm home! I'm back! Hello! Hello, Arcade! Where are you? Bloody hell, look at this place. It's an absolute shit tip. Oh my god. Oh, it's just been trashed. I can't believe this. What's that? Is he out the window? There's a bloody boat on the shore! Oh no, that might mean the light's never been lit. Oh, there he is. He's in the front room. He's laid on the couch. Hey, Arcade, wake up. Ah! You're not Arcade, you're bloody Robo Pete. Go on, get out. Get your fat ass out of there. Go on. Skedaddle. Oh no, what's happened? Where's Arcade? Oh, well, he's away. I'm going to have to start clearing up or something like this. It's a right mess. I can't do it. I'll move all these tins here, right? Oh, what's under these tins? What the? Here, you get up.
You're back. You have a good holiday?
Bloody hell, you've been asleep under these cans.
Oh, I've had the sweetest sleep of my life. Oh,
that is disgraceful. I found Robo Pete.
Where is he? Has he got more tinnies?
No more tinnies. I've had to bloody put him back on his boat and send him back to the mainland.
Oh, he's gone.
He's gone now. He's been here a week.
I don't even know. Lost count.
Oh, this is terrible. Absolutely terrible. Have you seen that ship? There's a bloody tanker.
A ship?
Yeah.
Where?
It's a bunch of
balls, man. I can't think about. Oh, I don't
when
know.
When did you last light the line?
I can't. I remember Pete coming round on Monday, and he had his rowboat full of beer. We started. I think I did it Monday night, and I don't know after that. Arcade, it's a bit of a walking, mystery this week, dude.
This is terrible.
I feel nice though. I'm not even hungover. I don't know how long I've been asleep.
Oh man! Well, I'll tell you what.
Is anybody on the ship? Are we in trouble? Are we sorry?
No, I think we're all right.
Can we push it back in later or something?
We'll give it a go later on.
I'll get Jack on it or something. I'll just jack it back in.
Just jack it back up.
Get a few brooms or something. We'll get it back out there.
Pushing up to know what happens. Well, rather than doing that first, the first thing we need to sort out is this bloody lighthouse, right? So I've got Hoover out already.
Yeah,
so
we start picking tinnies up here.
No, I've had a better idea.
Huh?
Got Hoover out. Why don't we try that Hoover trick we were on about before?
Oh, yeah. Let's go Sonic, dude.
Let's try, because for those who don't know, right, well, first of all, this is KRAKEN Cove, right? This is the podcast that shines the beacon onto the bazaar. And I'm Matt.
I'm Benny.
And here we are in a lighthouse, you see, because that's what's going on at the moment. So, by the looks of things, Ben's been having a bit of a party time here, right? So we're going to have a bit of a clean up and everything.
Benny Bender.
but one of the other episodes we did on sound weapons. And Ben seemed to reckon that when we were kids, I used to do a trick with a Hoover where we'd kind of get into some sort of sonic rhythm.
I can't believe you don't remember it. Well, literally, you brought it out and said, hey, check this out. Do this with me. You're making me do the tone of voice. You doing your tone. Hoover kicked in and he just going, wow, wow, wow. Proper
so do we do
weird.
It? Right, so how does it work then? Do we do it before we
do
Hoover first?
We match the tone of the Hoover. Hoover on first, then you start going like one, you know, you find a note that's a bit weird, then I go in with a bit of a, you know what I mean? Let's just fucking,
let's
play
give it a go. So we're going to turn the Hoover on, so the next night you can hear the Hoover, right? So here we go. Right,
no, just deep in. Give them what? Just one constant. Get it in the middle.
Get it in the middle.
Shit, where all Tinny's gone, man? Where all Tinny's gone? Why is it so neat?
God. Do you know what? I think we've gone into the future.
Oh, mate, it looks shitter than we are now.
Oh, no.
Oh, mate, this looks 2020. Look. Oh, let's go back to 2020.
Do it again.
Oh, we're going back. It's a shit tip again. Thank fuck for that. Did you hear it?
Oh, did I?
That was your crazy head that made that game up. Fucking nutter.
The trick, it actually works.
Oh, jump with that. Don't like fucking future much though, do you?
No, I'm not. We're not going to talk about the future on the Cove.
Yeah,
I
no.
can't believe a Hoover can just. It's almost like a hot tub time machine.
Don't get me onto missing socks and a washing machine. I've got a massive theory about that. We'll go into that another day.
Say that for another
Park
day.
that one.
But I think for now, what needs to be done is, I think we need to sit down at the kitchen table.
Ooh.
Settle down, and do you know what? You need a bit of casting.
Have you been holiday casting?
I've been holiday casting.
Oh, good lad.
And I'll tell you about what I've seen.
Oh, let's get this bad boy on.
So yeah, I've been on my holidays and I've seen some strange stuff.
Ooh, jolly holidays. What did you see? Whereabouts did you go again? I was a bit of a blank. I think I've hurt my brain with all this week.
I've been up to Edinburgh.
Oh, no.
So,
It's a lovely place. Yeah. I've only been once, but absolutely loved it.
Loved it really good. So we saw lots of stuff. Saw the Queensbury House.
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Yeah, so that's where the Earl, the cannibalistic Earl was.
Roasting a boy above the fire.
Roasting, but yeah. The weird thing is now it's like part of the Edinburgh, almost like a Parliament building sort of thing.
Right.
So I think it's a bit weird that they've adopted this creepy bloody house.
Yeah.
I
Check out that past episode. What were we calling it? Cannibals.
It's on the cannibals and things. Sawney Bean
That's
special.
it, Sawney Bean special.
So yeah, I might get to see that, and that was pretty good. But the thing that I really liked was I've been to Rosslyn Chapel.
You were teasing that you were going to go. Do you actually see it then?
Yeah, so it's absolutely fantastic.
Is it?
The only thing that's bad is you can't take photos inside.
With paint and flash and all that sort of stuff.
Well, no, the reason is I found out is because people, obviously you get your Americans, your Japanese and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
People just rocking up with gigantic bits of camera kit and they're just photographing everything and getting it weighed, getting everybody else's takes.
Yeah, you need to move around nicely, give everybody a chance.
Just look at use your eyes sort of thing, you know. Which is, I think he's good because you've got to be in the moment a bit.
Mate, I'm funny with cameras, concerts, anything I'm doing, I never take photos. It's just I think it spoils it, like fucks your memory up about it all and that.
Yeah,
I like doing it live, you know.
You know, there's no, what's the point in looking at a little screen while you're looking at real life, but you're actually just watching it through a little screen.
Exactly, I find it creepy nowadays with all that they're living through them.
But yeah, Rosslyn Chapel itself was a sort of like a very special and very interesting place.
You could just give me a setup. I imagine it on a little green hill in the middle of nowhere, you know what I mean? And it's just there, boom, nothing around it.
The weird thing is it's sort of tucked away.
Right.
It's in the countryside.
Yeah.
So it's sort of like just outside the village of Rosslyn,
yeah.
So there's loads of like trees and a nice little graveyard and all this sort of stuff, you know, but it's not, and you kind of don't really know it's there to start with.
Yeah.
You can't really see it from the road or anything like that. You know,
just see Tom Hanks running around somewhere.
I'm
near.
I think it's sad the amount of people who are there because of Tom Hanks. I think that's a big shame, you know what I mean? So to just give you a bit of a rough sort of like a rundown of what Rosslyn Chapel is.
Mm-hmm.
So basically what it is, it's a 12th century Gothic chapel.
So the Goths built it.
No, it's the style of the architecture.
Right,
Gothic,
yeah.
So it's very crenellated and lumpy and very almost like over carved. And
right,
stuff.
over ornate type of shit.
Over ornate, yeah, that's that. And they reckon it's been built by the Knights Templar had it built.
Yeah.
And as a result, there's loads of like legends about it. You know, it's like it's not just like any old chapel. And what the thing is, they reckon within the entire building, they reckon there's loads of like code. So, for example, I think it's like some people think it's a stargate.
Wow!
Right, because there's a vaulted ceiling. There's all these different stars in it, and what like alien grey faces and stuff like this. And there's everything. Everywhere you look, there's strange hints of oddness, which could be construed as code, or just very heavily ornamented things that people have just been carving something for. And it's taken ages to carve.
Was it done in one sitting, or has someone been whittling away for years, adding stuff? And
well, that's a good question because it was actually done and left. It was kind of a complete work.
Right.
Then added to, and they've had little wings and things added to.
Yeah.
But the thing is with the carvings, because it basically got fallen in a massive state of disrepair.
Ah, right.
It was a wreck
Yeah.
at one point, and I believe like Cromwell sort of like stabled his horses in there at one time in the area, or something like this, or soldiers,
Used as a barn.
This is about that's what it was like. It was absolutely knacked in.
Yeah.
And as a result, there's loads of fresh carvings in there.
Ah.
So there's a lot of the carvings. There's a lot of the originals there.
Yeah,
So don't worry
yeah.
about that. There's plenty of the originals.
Mm-hmm.
But the weird thing is, the new carvings, in some cases, almost as mysterious as
Right.
the old ones, because the people have got in that, and this is something I discovered in it, which I've not really read about as well, which again I'm finding a bit weird, but I discovered while I was there, is the masons, actually the stonemasons,
Yes.
are of course the masons as well, the
Yeah,
affiliation
yeah.
with a secret brotherhood, and they seem to have actually added a lot of their own secret sort of significant
Wow.
carving
So they've noticed
later
it,
on.
like it's a place of importance. They thought, all right, let's add to this kind of
Well,
magic.
they've always thought they've actually had links to the Masons from the very start,
Yeah.
and there's even thoughts that the Knights Templar were linked to the Masons too.
Wow, so they didn't just die off and run off and just disband. They're just like, right, change his names, hide it for a few years.
Well, I think aspects. I think the Knights Templar themselves were actually executed by the French kings.
They say a lot got
Yeah,
away
yeah,
though.
yeah.
You know, right? Some nearly
Yeah.
martyred themselves for it, but
Yeah.
a lot got away.
I think they did, but I think as well there might be even being just this secret underground. I mean, obviously the Masons are quite a shady kind of
it is, isn't it?
setup, yeah, you know. So they added their own bits and bats. So I mean, I must admit, I can't claim to be any expert on it. I've not done tons and tons of work. I'm just basically going off my jolly bobs.
Exactly, it's eyewitness testimony.
Yeah. So the thing I found, one of the most interesting things I found there, is the amount of green men.
Oh, they are
that
cool
have,
agreement, because that's like before Christ and everything in it, real old
That's
symbol.
it, yeah, super old, and I reckon they actually go back as far as the Druids. And again, the Druids are super weird, because when people say, "What do you know about Druids?" and there's loads of the New Age crystal types that turn around and say, "Oh, well, Druids do this." And
Yeah.
they don't know anything.
I tell you what, it's awful. Is that bit weird? I remember being younger, thinking, right, I'm going to get into Druids. And it's like, oh, there's nothing. I can't find anything out about
so
them.
mega mysterious.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
They had like a good last fight on an island somewhere with Romans. I heard that one.
Wow.
I did a bit of a trickster manoeuvre, you know what I mean? But then they just got their asses kicked next day. You know?
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think they are just super fascinating.
Yeah.
But as a result, you don't know, it's a mystery. But the energy and the power of the Green Man was obviously revered while this was being carved. And of course, even later carvings in churches and stuff now, you get yourself down your road, if you've got a little bit of an old church nearby, you get yourself down there and spend half an hour having a good look at the carvings. Chances are you'll see a Green Man. Now, the way you can actually tell what a Green Man looks like is quite often they've got leafy beards, quite a grotesque face, and have what is possibly thought to be vines growing out of their mouths.
Wow.
So they're a bit of a strange sight. And I think let me just see the amount of numbers they've got here. Let me just quickly look at the Green Men. I think they said there's something like 110 different Green Men carvings within. But my favourite one is that there's a very famous one right on the top of right on the altar.
Yeah.
I've got a picture of it there. That's the one that's on the altar there.
Whoa, look at that.
Yeah.
Ugly little sprout. It's like one of
it's
them
really-
ghoulies, isn't it? Remember that film?
And there's a good one. There's a really good carving of some lovers turning away from the devil. That's a good one as well. Look. So Satan is actually.
What, is he a bit shy there or something?
Yeah,
What's
it looks
going
like
on?
he's a bit shy. He's like
thought-
giving a bit of time. It looks like he's pushing down a bone.
I think his eyes are like that as well. You know, actually peeking.
He's a little peeky deaky.
Pushing down the bone.
You know, and there is, like I say, there's some very mysterious elements that are kicking about on there. Now, one I particular like is they're saying it's the fallen angel.
Wow.
And they're saying it's said to be Samayaza, the leader of the fallen angels. But really, we all know it is. It's bloody Lucifer.
Yeah,
isn't
that's
it?
how.
Have
What
you
do you
seen
call him? Samiami.
Samayaza. Have you looked? It's an
Oh,
angel.
closer peek.
Now, have a little look at that. And what it is, it's an angel carved upside down, bound in
Oh
ropes.
yeah! Oh
So
god! Oh, that is immense. That is so evil.
It's so
you
good,
think the
isn't it?
crucifix upside down? Look at that! An angel upside down,
that's
all
it.
bound up. Wow!
So you know, and it's a super weird one. Is that now the most famous carvings? The two pillars called the Mason's Pillar and the Apprentice Pillar. Now, what they reckon is the Mason was that he'd done his pillar right, and he's thinking, all right, that's great, because it's a wonderful piece of stonemasonry. It really is sort of like a super detailed, really, really cool. But he had to go away on a bit of a job. I think he had another contract somewhere else, but he had sort of like an extension to do with something, right?
Can't do no overtime, I've got a job on next Thursday.
So he left the other pillar, the other main pillar, up to his apprentice to carve, right?
So the first one's all nice and straight, proper light. You can't get straighter, can you, than that? Let's have a look at the apprentice.
And there's the apprentice pillar.
Oh my God! He can't just bolt. I think that's better. It's like a twist to it, isn't it?
Well, that's it. But what happened was, when the mason came back, right, and saw that the apprentice had totally nutly shot him up, he killed him.
Oh my God! In the chapel?
They think he killed him in the chapel.
Oh, sweet.
And what they think is even carvings up in the ceiling space of somebody who, I think it's meant to be something like a condemned man.
Yeah.
Which is meant to be the mason.
Yeah.
And then there's somebody who looks dead with a head injury.
Wow.
As well, like up there too.
Done him in.
Yeah, done him in. So they reckon it's
Christ, it is though. It's beautiful, isn't it? Kill what a jelly belly.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
And another weird thing that's spotted in there as well, which is really odd, right, is these carving around one of the windows. Now it's a little bit hard to see there. Just get it down there.
Oh, yeah.
And if you see, it's corn.
Oh yeah.
And this was before anyone had found America.
Oh, did corn come from America?
Okay, corn, maize came from the Americas.
Wow.
And when this was carved, nobody had been to the Americas.
Jesus.
Totally undiscovered.
Oh.
But they've got these carvings of corn over one of the windows and stuff like this. And another one is an exotic plant, right? Is aloe vera.
Nice.
So cactuses was carved into it as well.
We found them. I bet we wouldn't have found them yet, would we?
I think we had.
Spice roots and all that sort of
sort of a lark it had, you know. But there's even there's a weird one. There's like a dance of death going on there, and there's like a whole frieze of people basically dancing with skeletons and stuff like that, you know. And it's just quite incredible, all the different ones that you sort of get to see. There's an entire sort of carving of the crucifix.
Do you get a vibe? You know, let's say you're walking, you're looking at it. Did you get a vibe out of it? Did you get a feeling?
I really did, yeah.
Yeah, like good or bad, like dark or light or
mysterious.
Yeah,
it's
mysterious.
Mystery. Yeah. It doesn't help that I was there when there was still some tourists, and there's a woman from Newcastle who was actually on the phone in the chapel, and she had to be told to leave, then didn't leave.
Oh.
So that was kind of an annoying thing, and I could have happily killed her like the Mason did. You know. And we weren't allowed down into the not the catacomb. Well, I think it's the catacomb. We weren't allowed down there. Wow. So Carol was very disappointed about not being allowed.
Why? What's down there? Do you know?
Well, that's where the bodies were stored of the Templars and stuff. You know? And that were meant to be quite interesting.
Why did they bring them back from Europe and all that?
I believe so. Yeah, but then again, there's other battles here as well.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
You know? And also, they might have just died of old age. And
have you ever seen photos? Is some more carvings down there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Wow.
And this is the thing I'm finding on the internet. There is photos, these kinds of images and stuff, but there's not anywhere near as much as I thought there'd be.
Yeah.
And I've had to work really, really hard to find one particular carving I found interesting. So there's two images or two carved figures which I found particularly interesting. Nobody else seemed to be noticing very much, right?
Yeah.
So here's one of them. I've managed to find a picture. Like I said, you're not allowed to take photos when you're in there, right?
Wow, it's like some scaly kind of angel, isn't it? What's with kind of scaliness to it?
Well, that's what's so bizarre.
And fairy or something.
That's the thing. And I thought, well, this is weird because this was, imagine like you're looking at a church, right? There's an altar, and behind the altar there's carvings on the wall.
Yeah.
One of these particular sort of figures was on the left and one was on the right. They were the most, possibly the most prominent places there could be in the chapel. The two carvings that were behind the altar were these two figures.
But like that one, furry little angel, squat down. It looks like he's going to curl off a dookie to me. Look at him.
Well, he's in a weird position, and it seems
hand as well. That hand's weird.
So I'll just describe. We're going to post this up on our website. So we're going to see it on Twitter. It's going to be at KRAKEN COVE. Instagram, it's at KRAKEN COVE Pod. So I'll be putting a few pictures of those up. But for the sake of things now, I'll just describe it. It's kind of a squatting figure of an angel. Big wings at the back. One hand, the right hand, is holding the shin. The left hand is covering the heart. And there's a slightly kind of mournful expression on the face.
Ain't right, is it? That hand, that left hand over that.
But I couldn't find any information about it. There's not any of the literature is written about it. And I thought, who are these weird figures? Because the body, they've got the big wings. The body also seems to be feathered.
Ah, yeah.
And so doing a little bit of work, I managed to ask one of the assistants there, and she said to me that a stonemason who knew some of the history, because what happens is the stonemason is actually taking, or one of the masons, not only the guys who worked on this, but he's a mason. He's taking other fellow Freemasons on private tours around.
Right.
And he told her that he doesn't say much, doesn't give up much at all, and says they are probably Nephilim.
No, I've never heard of the Nephilim.
And so when she's trying to get more information out of him, this guy, he was saying, "Oh no, they're just a joke." And I think a joke. What sort of joke?
He's trying to get someone off the scent there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like Scooby-Doo villain or something.
So the next thing you need to look at is, as you said, what is a Nephilim?
Have you got the other picture? You said there were two of them.
Couldn't get the other picture.
Ah, no.
Couldn't find the other picture. But they are in there. So it's like if I manage to find both, I will post both.
Yeah.
But with the time I've had, I've not been able to find it. So the Nephilim appears in the Bible throughout.
Right.
Very strange. Also, the Nephilim appear in Hebrew histories and Muslim histories.
Christ.
And what they think they are, it's sort of, the Nephilim were the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men before the deluge, right? So what that really sort of translates as saying, it's the direct descendants of God, as in the angels, had sex with human women.
I've heard something about this. I got super horny for women and all that. Everybody were at it. And giants were about and stuff, weren't they?
These are the giants.
Oh, wow. God.
That's it. And it's like now that, I'm not going to go through massively everything about this, because what I might do, I might cover Nephilim and giants later on. It's on topic.
Because that's one of the reasons for floods, wasn't it? You know what I mean? Were to get rid, start again. It's like, oh, Jesus, look at the state of all angels banging everyone down there.
That's exactly
and
what
giants are tearing everybody's heads off, right?
So these were basically, like I said, because it seems to me, as far as I can actually sort of decipher, that the Nephilim didn't just take one particular form. There could be different things, different faces, heads. They could shapeshift.
Wow.
There could be super, super giants. All were said to have these massive mega wings.
God, I'm glad he said wings.
You're thinking, oh God, I don't want a bloody Nephilim banging out. But yeah, so it's like
that's juicy.
Yeah, so but there doesn't seem to be any reasoning behind it. But another thing that I think there could possibly be, one of the rumours as well, is they were the daughters of Cain.
Wow.
So these what we'll do, we'll have to have a look at later on, because it's just too big a bigger subject. But this, as I was saying, could be a representation that says it could be a Nephilim.
Wow, I love it.
And so I think at a later time I'm just, because I've just back off my holidays, I've just put my bags down for fuck's sake.
Yeah, I've got a Benny fact for you. It's from one of me most. I love my Steinbeck and that, and the East of Eden, that old book. You know what I mean? But after I read the book, I thought, God, that is fucking fantastic. You know what I mean? I love that kind of quote. You must go. He's cast out his Cain. You must go east of Eden. Do you know what is east of Eden? What land it is?
Hell.
No, the land of Nod.
Oh, now that does ring a bell.
I looked at it like, you are fucking land of Nod.
East of Eden's the land of Nod.
Yeah.
And the weird thing is, I think in Yorkshire there is a place called Land of Nod.
I drove through it a bit ago. It was the land of Nod, literally.
Wow.
Yeah. And it wasn't that long ago.
Well, maybe we need to look into it a little bit further. What maybe we need to do is a bit of a special on Nephilim and the land of Nod.
G-Force did a bit of wiring up there, actually. I'll have to ask him.
I don't see if it's wired into anything, tapped into anything particular about bizarre. You see any Nephilim while you're in land of Nod, Grezza?
We will find out.
Heerlijk land van mijn dromen, ergens hier ver vandaan, waar ik zo graag wil komen. Daar waar geen leed kan bestaan.
Well, the thing there, you see, is we've set ourselves a bit of homework. We need to look into Nephilim now.
Yeah,
we
yeah.
need to look into the land of Nod or some malarkey, you know, east of Eden.
Yeah, baby.
You know. But also, you see, we've got to look back on other stories a little bit because we have to set ourselves a bit of homework.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
story me and you have been following, I'm going to cover it now. Happy news, really good news is this. Trump supporter shoots himself through the groin in an attempt to trigger liberals.
Oh, lovely. That's a very early episode, isn't it? Those pointing the guns at the guns.
Yeah, that's it. The guns at dicks. So basically, to cover well, like in one of our past episodes, we covered the fact that they call them FUDs.
Yeah,
they call themselves
like
FUDs.
Elmer Fuds.
Yeah, which these are guys who just live with guns. They don't want all the rules to do with guns. They're just gun guys. And they didn't like the fact that sort of like liberals and people like this were saying, no, you gotta have guns saved. Got to be careful with guns. So to sort of prove that they were all super cool with guns, these chads and stuff like this, these FUDs, and so just took photos of themselves pointing firearms at their own genitals. And we knew at the time, didn't we?
Yeah.
We knew this is going to come across
To a
this is gonna
sticky,
get
icky
very
end.
sticky end. And I'm glad to say it has. So this is a story from Queerty by Graham Greenmore, right? And it says that a member of a homoerotic pro-Trump Facebook group where straight guys share photos of themselves pointing loaded guns at their genitals in an attempt to trigger liberals has accidentally shot himself in the balls. Now, I think they're saying it's homoerotic. It's not homoerotic.
Yeah, it hasn't got nothing to do with it. They're just being fucking dicks.
so well, yeah. The unidentified San Diego man belongs to the private group Loaded Guns Pointed at Penis.
Wow.
He recently posted a video of himself pointing his .45 caliber or a 1911 semi-automatic at his groin. There's a brief pause in the video before the gun suddenly fires and blood spatters everywhere.
Oh, wow.
Oh, ball blood.
Oh.
Oh, no. The original video of the man shooting himself in the balls and the subsequent thread has been deleted, but members of the group captured the video and aftermath and re-uploaded it. The man who shot himself in the balls wrote above the picture, "Hey boys, I might have fucked up."
Oh, wow, yeah.
And the picture shows his naked legs and splattered blood on the carpet of his floor. A towel is stuffed between his legs, and a printed out copy of the Constitution is crumpled on the edge of the photo. The right to bear arms.
Wow.
So the guy posted through the incident as he bled. God's .45 caliber went through my scrotum, mattress, box spring and floor.
Oh, so you just went through the scrot?
I think
he
he-
didn't hit a,
yeah,
didn't
but-
hit a plum?
But the thing is with these things, they go with such force.
Oh,
They
yeah.
put in the bruising.
Oh.
The man later posted a photo of himself in hospital pointing his finger towards his crotch like a gun.
I haven't had enough, has he? He hasn't had enough yet.
He captioned the photo. Turns out it wasn't a graze. That round went right the fuck through me. It's what I thought were two graze wounds turned out to be an entrance and exit wound. Oh,
Wow.
so I don't think he's actually blown his balls off.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, because anybody who's still stupid enough to do that and then still talk to people online
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it,
And bragging nearly, isn't he? You know what I mean?
would be so ashamed.
Exactly. Yeah, you'd go hermit, wouldn't you, straight away?
I mean, and as they're saying here now, I'm quite sure he's learned his lesson without the entire world calling him an idiot. Right? That's what the admin's saying. He's basically saying, look, back off, guys. Back
Yeah,
off.
yeah.
I think, no,
He's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot.
shame, name and address, the whole what?
Massively.
Bullshit, man.
I really hope he's got all his tubes are all ruined and he can't actually do it. I hope he can't have offspring because he's just a bad apple, innit? Don't create any more.
No.
You know what I mean?
Oh my God, his tubes are ruined. So there you go. Your gun safeties are very important. This has proved it.
Mate, let's move on. My knackers are hurting.
It's enough to make you spew, innit?
It is. I can feel it.
puking up. Right? Again, a little bit of homework from the previous episode, because I think everyone will have noticed that we're one episode short, aren't we?
Yeah.
We had to skip one. There've been holidays and things like that at work.
I had to have that bender as well. It's just something I've got to do once a year.
Well, this is it, but we're back now. We're back from our summer holidays.
Yeah.
Your holiday from reality. So what we're looking back on, one of the subjects we discussed previously is, what is ambergris?
I can't even remember that. What's that?
Yeah, the whale vomit.
Oh, mate, yeah, sorry, yeah.
This is a stuff. So ambergris, right? This is just from Wikipedia. So we're going to have a little delve into what ambergris is, right? So ambergris, or grey amber, is a solid, waxy, flammable substance of a dull grey or blackish colour, produced in the digestive system of sperm whales.
Just sperm whales.
Just sperm whales.
Wow.
They're the only ones that can do it. Freshly produced ambergris has a marine fecal odour. It acquires a sweet, earthy scent as it ages, commonly likened to the fragrance of rubbing alcohol, without the vaporous chemical astringency. Right?
Cool.
Ambergris has been highly valued by perfumers?
I think that's right.
Perfumers, yeah, perfumers. As a fixative that allows the scent to endure much longer, although it has been mostly replaced by synthetic ambroxide. Dogs are attracted to the smell of ambergris and are sometimes used by ambergris searchers. You can have yourself an ambergris hound, like a truffle
pooch.
hound.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be it.
Yes, he sniffed the little things out. They'd love
I'm
it.
getting one. Getting 3.
A little team, especially if they find some.
Little team.
Yeah, little team.
How cute is that? One uniform. Anyway, go on.
So the word ambergris comes from the Old French ambergris, or grey amber. That's where it comes from, does that, So ambergris is formed from a secretion of the bile duct in the intestines of the sperm whale, and it can be found floating on the sea or washed up on coastlines. So you can find it wherever there's sperm whales. You can find it.
Like we talked about that dude before, haven't we? Like, what's that? Looked it up, went back, found it. Like, oh my god, I've got gold.
That's it. That's where it's sort of discovered sometimes. It is sometimes found in the abdomens of dead sperm whales. And because the beaks of giant squids have been discovered within the lumps of ambergris, scientists have theorised that the substance is produced by the whale's gastrointestinal tract to ease the passage of sharp objects that it may have eaten.
Right, so it's a literal poo grease.
Poo grease.
Yeah. And that accounts for the smell.
Yeah, that's the thing, and it's like...
I thought you were going to say, like, squids were after it or something, trying to rip open a whale to get them. And you're like, oh my god.
But if you think of a beak, the beaks of like the squids, and it's like a gigantic, it's like shitting out a sword or something.
Yeah. Oh, got you now. So, sorry, the squid attack. He's eating the squid and he's trying to pass that sharp beak.
The beak of the beaky boy. Back through, you know what I mean? But the thing that gets me about this stuff, right, is people think, this is produced in this way or that, right? But ambergris is passed like fecal matter. So it's shat out.
Right.
It is speculated that an ambergris mass too large to be shat out through the intestine is expelled via the mouth. But that still remains under debate.
Right.
So people have been claiming all along, it's the whale vomit. Yeah, it's not. It's mostly sort of shat out.
Shat out?
Ambergris takes years to form. Christopher Kemp, the author of Floating Gold, A Natural and Unnatural History of Ambergris, says that it is only produced by sperm whales and only by an estimated 1% of them. So ambergris is rare. Once expelled by a whale, it often floats for years before making landfall. The very small chance of finding ambergris and the legal ambiguity involved led perfume makers away from ambergris and led chemists on a quest to find a viable alternative. Right.
That's it.
So the physical properties of ambergris is found in lumps of various sizes, usually weighing from 15 grams to 50 kilograms, right? So that's a weighty old lad, isn't it? When initially expelled or removed from the whale, the fatty precursor of ambergris is pale white in colour, sometimes streaked with black. Soft, with a strong fecal smell, so it stinks of whale shit.
That's some fishy poo-poo.
So what it needs is months to years of what's called photodegradation and oxidization. So it's floating in the sea.
Hitting
It's the
the
sun and the air that's working on it.
Cool.
It hardens up, turns a bit crusty.
Turns a bit crusty.
Yeah. And eventually, like say, the smell, it becomes once sweet, earthy, marine, and animalic. So smells of animals. Weird. You know? So it's like, it's a very sort of like weird sort of thing, really. What's in it, apparently, that's important is crystals of terpene, known as amberine, which you can separate down with alcohol or something, and ambroxan, which is another sort of like it's a synthetic. When it's synthetically, it's used in the perfume industry. You know, that's the thing that holds
the scent.
The scent.
Yeah,
That's exactly it. Yeah. Now, this is one of my favourite parts of this. So it's mostly been known for creating perfume and fragrance, much like musk, right? But ambergris has historically been used in food and drink. Oh. So this is whale shit talking about
wow.
here, right? Yeah. A serving of eggs and ambergris was reportedly King Charles II's favourite dish.
Oh, what?
A recipe for rum shrub liqueur. I don't know what that is, but rum shrub liqueur from the mid-19th century called for a thread of ambergris to be added to the rum, almonds, cloves, cassia, and the peel of oranges in making a cocktail from the English and Australian cookery book.
That's nice.
It has been used as a flavouring agent in Turkish coffee and in hot chocolate in 18th century Europe. And the substance, of course, is considered an aphrodisiac in some cultures.
So it's heartbreaking though. It's like, 1% of the whales, produce it, and it's really rare. But back in the day, when the seas were just full of whales, it was just like people serving it up in coffees and having it with scrambled eggs.
Yeah, I never really thought of it like that.
Oh, that's awful, isn't it? It wasn't rare then, was it?
Well, no, because the ancient Egyptians burned ambergris as incense.
Oh,
you
man.
know? In modern Egypt, ambergris is used for scenting cigarettes. So whale shit cigarettes.
Wow.
Right? The ancient Chinese called the substance dragon's spittle fragrance. Right?
Cool.
And during the Black Death in Europe, people believed that carrying a ball of ambergris could help prevent them from contracting the plague.
Well, I'll try it now.
Well, it's because they believed in like scents, didn't they? So they said it was like if you could, for example, if you could catch it through scents.
Yeah.
So if you had something that smelled even stronger, that
scent
would
could
block it out.
Yeah.
So and it wasn't just a case of masking scents. Like if we smell something bad, you want like a bit of something like I don't know, Vicks Vapor Rub under your snout.
Yeah.
They actually believed that would stop you catching any diseases, which a bit of a weird one, isn't it? But the thing is now, you see, is like ambergris is a bit tricky because what they used to catch, they used to kill sperm whales, haul them aboard, and first thing they'll be looking for is the oil and the meat and the blubber, but then they'll be raiding the gut trying to find ambergris.
Wow.
So ambergris then that's why it was more common about during the whaling times, because they could just drag it out of all the millions of whales they're killing. But as you quite rightly say, it's become sort of like rarer and rarer because of the killing all the whales.
Just off that note, though, I remember reading Moby Dick and I absolutely loved it, and the description of what boat were ace. But then I saw a movie afterwards, and I was like, when you see it, just this smoking factory just floating about with just fucking hacking whales up and that. Just like, oh shit,
the stink of a whaling vessel.
It's it's awful.
Yeah. So funny enough you should say that, because in chapter 91 of Herman Melville's Moby Dick, Stubb, one of the mates of the Pequod, fools the captain of a French whaler into abandoning the corpse of a sperm whale found floating in the sea. His plan is to recover the corpse himself in hopes that it contains ambergris. His hope proves well founded, and the Pequod's crew recover a valuable quantity of the substance. Melville devotes the following chapter to a discussion on ambergris, with special attention to the irony that fine ladies and gentlemen should regale themselves with an essence found in the inglorious bowels of a sick whale.
Excellent. Beautiful book.
I disagree.
Oh, what?
I disagree with that. I think as a historical document, I think Moby Dick's a wonderful thing because it tells you so much about the whaling and things like this, but fuck me, does it drag on.
Do you reckon? I liked it. I was super high when I was reading it.
Maybe that's what you need.
A million bath or like a...
So you're like a little whale yourself.
Exactly, I was
bobbing
just
around.
wallowing around. When he... Oh, I could go into it all day, but I liked the pace of it. He built up to that complete frenzy of him, you know.
It got me. And the aspects of it I did like were good, but maybe that's what you need to do. Maybe you need to just get yourself in a bath, have yourself an ambergris laced cigarette of the wacky variety, and just deeply get yourself in a bit of old Moby Dick.
Oh man, I loved it. A relationship with that book. It took me about a year to read it. I really enjoyed it.
Let's move away from the sea and get back onto dry land because we've got a pretty hot story here now. It's straight hot off the press.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, and
breaking news.
Yeah, this is just before we started casting today.
Yeah,
I got contacted by my mate Howard
on the old CB.
On the CB. Yeah,
go on, Howard.
So Howard got in touch, right? And he insisted that we said, look at this, you've got to have a look at this, right? And I had a quick look and I thought, my God, I've got to tell Benny about this.
Oh, love it. What's it going to be?
So it's this giant new 50-metre deep crater opens up in the Arctic tundra.
The Arctic, I was getting confused, that's topping it.
Yeah, Siberia.
Yeah. Oh, right.
Because this is from Anna Liasowska for the Siberian Times. And this is a story that came out yesterday.
Wow.
So it's only 2 days old, is this, right?
Fresh.
So this recently formed new hole or funnel is the latest to be seen in northern Siberia since the phenomena was first registered in 2014. So these holes, these supermassive holes, are appearing in Siberia. Right? Do you want to have a look at one?
Please.
Right, I'll just get you a little bit of a looky look. Look at that fucker.
Jeez. Oh, there are people around it. That's just gone boom.
Yes.
Wow, how deep do you know?
Yeah, 50 metres deep. 50 metres deep, so you're talking about like 120 foot, something like that, you know what I mean? Maybe a bit high, maybe 150 foot deep, right? Can you imagine you just took a tumble and fell in there?
Oh, God, that's sickening, isn't it?
And look at the state of it.
It looks like it's punched out, not punched in.
Well observed. Look at that. Can you imagine that's a giant mole that's done that?
Oh, it's tremors, dude.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But look, it's starting to fill with water and everything. It's just like...
it's milky. Oh, right, yeah.
It's filthy, isn't it? Filthy stuff, right?
Wow.
So what's happening is, right, so let's have a little look into it. Let's have a cast.
Yeah.
Let's have a delve deeper, right? It was initially spotted by chance from the air by Vesti Amal TV crew en route from an unrelated assignment.
What is that?
Yeah, exactly. A group of scientists then made an expedition to examine the large cylindrical crater, which has a depth of up to 50 metres. Such funnels are believed to be caused by the build-up of methane gas.
Ah.
Yeah, and it's in pockets of thawing permafrost under the surface. So that's what's actually happening there, you know. Scientist Dr. Evgeny Chuvalin, a leading researcher at Skolkovo Institute of Science and Technology, said, "What we saw today is striking in its size and grandeur.
Wow.
These are colossal forces of nature that create such objects. The crater, and these holes are called either hydrolaccoliths or bulguniacs by scientists."
That's a cool.
Yeah, I like to that of a bulguniac. Is given the number 17 and is seen as the most impressive of the large holes to suddenly appear in recent years as the permafrost thaws.
Does that come and go then, permafrost? Is that it? You know, like the bloody icebergs and that, you know what I mean?
No, but permafrost is like a frozen layer underground,
yeah.
Right? So it's obviously called permafrost because it's a permanent frozen layer.
Ah, got you. Not obviously to you.
And then well, yeah. But it's like the idea is, you see, because what's actually happened is like during other ice ages and stuff, these areas are frozen, and through millions of years ago, a lot of these things were sort of, there's foliage and vegetation and stuff. it's compacted down, and it's frozen all this rotten vegetation like swamps, marshes, things that were in warm areas. It's frozen, it's solid.
Yeah.
But what it's done, it's like a carbon capture thing.
Yeah.
So all that sort of like rot and gas and everything like that, it's all just been trapped in there permanently, and that's how it should stay.
Yeah.
But global warming is now thawing this.
Wow, Jesus.
And it's releasing these super huge bubbles of methane, right? But they're massively damaging to the ozone layer.
Oh my!
It's just about the most damaging
yeah.
thing you can have.
Oh, so it's going to make it even worse. What a horrible cycle!
It's like a massive cycle, but that's what's happening now. So I mean, these bubbles are just vast. And that's in the atmosphere now.
We're chuffing doomed, aren't we?
But let me just get the name that somebody described it as. Oh, Howard said we should describe it as. 1 second here. Let's have a quick chat with Howard. And as he put it, the description of these things are called earth farts.
That's excellent. Yeah, man. That's gigantic as well, isn't it? You know what I mean?
I know it's like a Godzilla trump, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's absolutely massive. But I mean, can you imagine, to make that sort of eruption, it must have made a monster fart noise.
So you know, we were on about last week. We were on about like the how does it catch fire on the moor? Sometimes, you know, these will-o'-wisps and all.
Oh
this.
yeah.
That could have, if there were someone smoking a fag near that could have been an almighty fireball.
Well, I think there's a hole. Have you heard of the one? I think it's in Kazakhstan or something called the Gate of Hell.
That one they drilled down and those noises at the end of it. Is that the one?
No,
a Russian.
This is a different one. What this is? This was basically a gigantic. I think it's either a tar pit or a giant hole full of oil.
Right.
And somebody, same sort of thing, they thought, oh, well, we can burn this away. Set fire to it. And it's been burning for like 50 years or something.
Right.
Let me see if we can find this. Yeah, that's basically what it is, right? It's the Darvatsa gas crater, known as the door or gate to hell.
It's somewhere like Dante knocks round.
Yeah, it's actually in Turkmenistan, that's where it is. And it was the geologist intentionally set it on fire to prevent the spread of methane gas, and it's thought to have been burning continuously since 1971.
Whoa!
So it's 70 meters wide and it's 30 meters deep, and has been burning constantly for 50 years.
Oh my God! I wonder which one's worse, the methane farting out or the
I'll tell you something though, I would love to, if you knew it was going to come out, just to be able to just chuck a fireworks.
I just want, you know that bit where you like smoke a cig and you're like flicking it. That's a really cheese ball movie.
The boom that would go off. Yeah.
That'd be sonic, wouldn't it?
That'd be just incredible.
Remember that other hole though? That one where they drilled down to see what happened and they got to the bottom of it and they're all like fucking horrible screaming. Have you ever heard that one?
I have heard of that one.
It's awful. That screaming is grim.
I don't know much about it, to be honest. But
it could be just all rock twisting together and that. It just sounds like human voices in complete woe and pain.
We don't know what's down there, do we? You see, we don't know what's underground. We think we know.
Yeah.
But if you look how far we've actually dug down in the earth, it's nowhere.
It's tiny,
We've
isn't
just
it?
had a bit of
Absolutely.
scrat around.
Yeah. It's just like this tiny bit of crust when you look at it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely
and there's
insane.
so much more down there. It's an absolute mystery. And we're all going into space. We're all going into sort of like sea exploration. What we need to do is get your pick and shovel out and have a good old dig.
Get an hole.
Dig a bloody hole. Let's find out what's down there. Because this is where you find your Darvatsa gas crater. All these big earth farts.
Just keep a box of matches handy.
Yeah, but that's what we need to do. But you know, it's not a good sign, is it? Let's face it.
But I don't like that cycle that you're saying. You know what I mean? That's farted out. It's going to create more farts. And it's going to like the whole Earth is going to be trumping. Top dude though. Well done, Howard. That's it.
But one thing I will say is that when they swell up like a big blister.
Oh wow! Yeah, so you're going to see it first. Like, well,
What the hell's that? And they're known as pingos.
Oh.
There's something else in the news at the moment which I found quite interesting. I mean, obviously, like the idea of like Methane explosions is pretty terrifying, isn't it? You know what I
I
mean?
love that, yeah.
But danger closer to home.
Ooh.
Big cat UK warning as expert claims 500 leopards and pumas are stalking our countryside.
Oh, great. Good.
Good, that's what I like. And this is by Seamus Duff for the Daily Star.
Oh, that's a beauty name.
Good old rag there.
Yeah.
So animal experts have warned that hundreds of big cats could be stalking the British countryside and are responsible for the deaths of livestock. Dr. Andrew Hemmings of the Royal Agricultural University in Cirencester has suggested there could be as many as 500 wild big cats causing havoc in the countryside. And he says bite marks on animal remains prove his theory.
Wow.
So that's solid evidence.
Yeah, yeah.
The wildlife expert approximates that there are 250 black leopards and 250 pumas at large in the UK, and argues a lack of concrete evidence should not dismiss the possibility that big cats are hunting in the wilds. While sightings of big cats in locations including the moors of Bodmin in Cornwall to the quiet residential streets of Hampstead, London, have brought scepticism due to shaky photographs and video footage. But Dr. Hemmings says there are too many sightings to dismiss big cats in the UK as mere myths. So what's your thoughts?
Well, only a couple of weeks ago there was another one where the army got sent out and saying, there's a big cat out there, you know what I mean, we've seen it, you know what I mean? Yeah, they were like proper, like, it is real, we just got to deal with the situation, everybody back up, be careful.
It's mad, isn't it?
The amount of mutilations and eating, an old bloke who were up in Scotland and he was getting stalked by a panther, you know, or something behind him, you know what I mean? The bloke who were with him, you know, was saying, no, just stay still and just look over there, you know what I mean? They were a shape, he's saying that we're getting stalked at the moment. I think he let off a couple of bangs, you know what I mean?
Wow.
It ruined their hunt, but they got rid of the panther, you know what I mean? But it was slowly just stalking behind him. But all the time Scottish dude was just like, just stop a minute.
He knew already.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
he just keeps, you know, properly lives out there, you know what I mean? He loves it.
People will be aware of it, yeah. So Dr. Hemmings claims, because of the consistency of sightings, lack of signs on inbreeding, and skill at deer hunting, around 80% of the reports he received were credible.
Yeah, I totally believe it.
Most of the witnesses and informants are reliable people, such as police officers and scientists. Dr. Hemming goes on to claim that he has studied bite marks on the carcasses of 5 animals in the wild that he feels are consistent with the teeth marks of leopards and pumas studied in captivity. He also claimed the markings could only have been made by non-native UK animals.
Yeah,
you know, so it's not like badgers or a fox or anything like that, you know. Because, you know, you've seen yourself sort of like the big old gnashes on the
exactly,
boys,
you don't have a UK animal, it's a fucking horse, is it? You know what I mean?
That's it. Earlier this month, a big cat was caught on camera roaming the countryside in Gloucestershire. Joshua Odom, 26, slammed the brakes on his car when he spotted a large animal while driving in the village of Barnsley, near Cirencester. So that's it must be a different one. It won't be as... what are the special interests of Barnsley? Whipping out his phone, the cricket fan filmed what appeared to be a large black cat casually strolling around the countryside. Someone behind the camera exclaims, "That is a fucking big cat."
I love it when they do stuff like that. But why bring in he's a cricket fan? I don't get it.
What's the relevance of that, you know? Like, just, as you film, you just see him go, "How's that?"
That's a big fucking cat.
He went on to tell Gloucestershire Live, "We stopped the car and watched it for about 3 or 4 minutes. It was definitely a big cat. It was massive, with a long tail. It wasn't a dog."
It's because of that, what was it, like the 1974 exotic animal fucking act thing coming, and they're all getting rid of like all the snakes and camels and sharks and all that, just chucking them back into the wild and that. And they're all started humping up
Field in
more.
Exeter there with his shark flapping across it. There you go, my beauty. Go free. Camels and stampeding all over shop.
Those moors, man, there's something on them all.
It's fucking elephants, man. released it. I suppose that's the same thing that happened with turtles, though, with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, down in the sewers.
Yeah, no.
And that massive crocodile.
Yeah, well, I've seen terrapins in the River Aire, not in the River Aire, in the canal.
Wow,
Liverpool.
no way.
I've seen a terrapin the size of a dinner plate.
And you saw that snapping turtle that time, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I've seen an alligator snapping turtle has been released into a pond, and that was as big as a dustbin lid.
What did that be?
It was massive.
Oh, Christ.
Because first of all, this kid was sort of like looking at something, he was messing around, and I said, what have you seen? And he looked at me with absolute terror. He says, there's a tortoise in there. And I went to go look, and I said, that's not a tortoise, that's a turtle. And I looked again, and I said, that's a fucking alligator snapping turtle.
Get your little arm, get your little arm over it. Drag him in.
And I couldn't believe what I'd seen, so I took photos of it and film footage and stuff like this. And literally, it was the size of a dustbin lid.
Wow.
And then when this guy came along with it was like a warden sort of thing. I says, look, I don't want to be alarming you, mate, but there's an alligator snapping turtle in there. And this stupid fat fuck, he turns around and says, oh no, I put it in. I says, what? And he says, yeah, it keeps ducklings down and stuff like that.
What?
Because it's a fishing pond, right? They don't want any ducks on water. So what he does, he puts a effing great alligator snapping turtle in there. It eats all ducks and ducklings. So these silly sods can sit around drinking tins and fishing for perch.
Oh, you could tie him up and just say, go on, snapping turtle.
Eat
his face off.
Turtle, yeah. So these exotic creatures out there, you know, I think they're out there, the exotica. I don't think they've been here forever. I think they've been released, and that's where you got to look at it.
Exactly.
You know?
Wow. Sharks.
See, we're talking about like monsters really out there. You know, it could be anything out there, you know, and it's like people. And what you could see as a monster is just something that's not being detected.
Exactly,
isn't it?
It's still going to kill you.
Yeah, and the beast of Bodmin and all that sort of stuff, you know. And but let's have a little look at a sea monster. Then.
Oh yeah, baby.
See, because in the late 1960s, decades deep into the Cold War, the US intelligence analysts were monitoring the Caspian Sea.
Oh, that was cool
and
already.
They came across satellite images of something strange in the water.
Wow.
Right? Odd shapes, but the first thing they started to see was like, you know, like wakes. As
Yeah.
in, you know, boat wake, that kind of
someone
thing.
swimming, someone behind.
But this was something of an immense size, travelling at stupendous speeds, which they didn't think was possible. Right? And this thing, they eventually looked at, they call it the Caspian Sea Monster.
Jeez, that's such a cool name.
The Caspian Sea Monster, right? And so what they did was, then they got the satellites into the area and had a look, and they found it.
Oh, wow.
They spotted the Caspian Sea Monster, and they took photographs of it, right?
Yeah.
And what they photographed was called an ekranoplan. An ekranoplan is a boat or a plane. Right. It's a strange machine, right? Wow. And it's one of the most impressive fucking mental things you'll ever see. Now, would you like to see what the Caspian Sea Monster actually looked like?
Well, is it like Nemo or something? You're saying it's like some fucking dude in a private boat? Or...
It's Russian made. And look at this mad fucker.
What the? It's like a
Look at
plane?
his jets.
What is that, man? It's a plane in it? What
It's
is
a
it?
plane, but it's a plane that only travels maybe 2 or 3 metres above the water.
Wow. Oh, it's like a super fast boat. But
It's like a super fast boat plane.
Wow. Like,
right?
Yeah.
And
What
that's
is it, like a catamaran?
Well, it can. No, not really. Again, because
that
still
skims, doesn't it? Yeah.
But weirdly enough, they are still using what's known as making use of ground effect. The aerodynamic forces at play when skimming close to the surface of the water, and it achieves a fast but stable, low-level flight.
Oh.
Because what's happening is, when you're flying, your plane's always trying to kind of go back to the ground, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you remember the footage of Donald Campbell when he's flying Bluebird, that thing he's always trying to take off.
Yeah.
And what they decided and created was something that found the sweet spot between the two.
God.
And that's what the Caspian Sea Monster is. It's a ekranoplan, as they called it.
Wow.
Right? Now, this is something that's really close to my heart.
And this is Russian made?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, because when I were a kid, when I were about 13 or 14, I'd worked out myself the fact that planes are always trying to crash and boats are always trying to take off.
Right, cool.
And I'd actually worked out that I thought, well, why don't they find something that just does in between?
That's it.
And I started making little models.
And it's all in between gripping yourself so often.
I think it was just before I was doing all that. And it was basically these wood. I made proper wooden models of it.
Oh my God!
Because I was trying to design basically a flat bottom speedboat without knowing anything to do with aerodynamics.
Yeah.
But then I'd realised it'd need like little stabiliser wings and things like this. I'm trying to get my mates involved and everything. And we used to have like days where we'd go, right, let's get together and plan this thing and see if we can work it out. Because we didn't have any internet. And I'm just doing it off like any books or just my own thought of what we could do and see if we could do a model that'd work.
Oh, that's it.
But I couldn't get any of my mates involved, really. Nobody wanted to know about design. and I didn't even know about the Caspian Sea Monster. Never heard of it.
What year was that, then?
Well, this was in the 60s. God. So I'm sort of designing my own plans for the Akrana plan. This is about 1984 or something.
That's it. It's only 20 odd years late. But they still use out like that.
Well, that's the thing you see now, is that they're saying at the time when they made it, I'm going to show you a few more pictures of these things.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Jesus Christ.
So he's not touching, but look, this particular device is absolutely rammed full of missile launchers.
Oh my
This
God.
is the military version of the Akrana plan, right? And they used it for all sorts, but now they've found the Lund class one. This is the one that had the missiles mounted on it as well. It's in a bad state of repair. They're trying to get into a museum at the moment because they realise it's one of the last ones that's sort of like running at the moment, and they're struggling like all holy heck to get it to save it, right? But they reckon it was just so far ahead of its time that it wasn't a viable sort of option. You know, although it's immensely powerful, immensely fast.
So do you actually gain so much? The sweet spot gains you a load of. You're just ripping through the sea.
Caspian Sea sort of thing.
No, I'm thinking of a battleship. It's after it's hunting. Its purpose is for war. It just races up, boom, with the missiles off again.
Well, I don't know. I think they couldn't actually find its true purpose.
Right. Yes. More testing and wink.
Yeah, and I think the thing is as well with the Akrana plan, it was. They really realised it was the best use for it was actually for heavy transport, getting things from A to B really quickly.
Yeah.
So you get tons of tanks and kit on board that, and you could get across like huge bodies of water at immense speeds.
Wow, yeah.
But it was limited by certain weather conditions. Obviously, it's like bad weather.
Yeah.
You know, things
hitting
like this.
massive waves and freak waves.
Yeah, well, that's it. Things could go a bit wrong, really.
Yeah.
You know, and so as a result, it did have its limitations. And the good thing of that time as well is it flew under radar.
Wow.
So that's the other thing
super
amazing
sneaky,
about it. Super
innit?
sneaky, yeah. So what the ideal is for me would be like a what's his name version, like a submarine version that come out and suddenly fly like that.
Or the other way around, it's flying up in the air and it's like goes supersonic, you know what I mean, and drop under radar and it just hits the ocean bit and then oh man.
Well, part of the problem was it did sometimes hit the ocean.
Tricky when you're
so
flying.
one of the biggest and the most famous one, that is where it is now, bottom of the ocean.
Wow.
So he just hit and they just and again rough weather. He seems to be very prone to rough weather and things. But what they're saying now is with the Akrana plan, is the next generation designs are coming out. In theory, the combination of speed and flexibility could allow Akrana plans to compete with seaplanes and ships. But while they make for a truly awesome sight when in flight, they've so far failed to progress any further than technological curiosity. So they've sort of always suffered from the same limitations faced by seaplanes when it comes to taking up for landing as well. That's another sort of issue, and that's a weakness. But they are stable as all heck when they're sort of like when they're
going.
You know. After years of research and trials, a Singaporean startup is close to beginning production on a next-generation vehicle that aims to revolutionise coastal transport forever.
What have you got? What have you got? So this is like the next gen.
The next generation of Akrana plans. They're sort of like, so they're finding that.
Wow.
That what they're finding is it's almost like leisure jets and stuff like this, leisure boats and things, you know. So yeah, what they're finding is these sort of like these smaller leisure, like speedy leisure craft and where they're doing it, you know.
Like tonking from Miami, you know, like done a drug deal.
Well, this is it, you know what I mean? But it's like basically these things like super luxury flying yachts that need to get from A to B really, really quickly. Wow. I'm sure the drug dealers are going to love these sort of things as well, you know what I mean?
Scrap the mini subs, guys. We've got a new one.
So we just need to look at another one up here, which looks a bit bizarre, right? And this is a craft called the Airfish, right?
Wow. Like straight out of James Bond or something.
The Airfish that's exactly what it's like. It's that sort of thing. So, despite its ambiguous appearance, the Airfish is considered a ship by organisations such as Lloyd's Register and international maritime organisations. The vehicle is powered by a car engine using conventional unleaded gasoline, right? So it's a pretty sort of simple thing, really, which is the dream, isn't it? You know, you want something fairly simple, you know.
And beats like jet fuel. You know what I mean?
So
it's more eco.
It can fly at speeds up to 110 miles an hour.
Wow.
Which are, 110 knots, right? So boats can't do that.
Yeah.
You know? But it cruises at lower speeds of 70 to 90 knots. This provides a smoother, more comfortable ride for passengers and also prevents it from climbing too high and leaving the ground effect zone.
Yeah.
So you start doing sort of 200, 300, 400 mile an hour, and you leave and you start taking off, it gets a bit messy, you know. So the Airfish is designed to fly below 7 metres at all times in order to take full advantage of the wing ground effects, right? It's rougher water. In rougher water with up to 2 metre high waves, the cruise altitude would be up to about 3 or 4 metres above those crests. So what they're saying is it can just fly higher and higher to avoid those rough seas because it's a smaller craft. So it looks to me like to be honest, what I'm looking at here with this particular one, the Airfish, this is close to what I was designing.
Wow.
That's close to what I was trying to make, which is basically looks like a boat, but with like outboard wings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you never know. As far as I'm concerned, maybe I was ahead of my time in designing these new designs, but a little bit like the airship.
Yeah.
You know, it was these things that designed for disasters.
I love
airships massively. But now it's looking like perhaps the time could come that the Ekrana plan, its time could be about to come again. There's many new designs in sort of like in the offing. They're redesigning it and remastering it, and it's looking like it could be, because they're always trying to make flying cars and stuff like this. You know what I mean?
Get back on it, Arcade. You could get $1 million.
Maybe me and you. That's what we need to design.
we could boot old Pete out of the way. He's trouble anyway, and we could just jet across. It'd take us minutes.
Maybe just him, so he can get his tinnies and stuff a bit quicker.
Get that old piss sound on it.
Where's my knickknacks? Oh, they're here.
Cheers, Pete. Fuck off.
A little bit late now, Arcade. You've got a lot of tidying up to do. But while you're doing that, I'm going to have to be out there trying to push that bloody super tanker off at rocks.
Do it sharply, so I'm going to be worried about that.
I'm a little bit worried. I thought we might try and do it after dark.
Just get it in quick.
Maybe we could get a Robo Pete to sort it out.
Yeah, he started all this bullshit anyway.
He's a menace, he really is. But what I always like to do is, I like a little warm story.
I like that. Cosy one for the end. Yeah.
So this is, David Bowie used to store his urine in the fridge to stop witches stealing it.
Why didn't you just flush it, Bowie? Or did you think they had pipes outside his house or something?
So this is by Joe Taysom for Far Out magazine. David Bowie's decade of decadence in the 1970s, which came to its apex when he moved to Los Angeles, saw the Starman use cocaine like there was no tomorrow, a habit that resulted in some bizarre behaviour, which was the result of the coke-fueled paranoia he had become susceptible to. Perhaps the most obvious example of Bowie's fragility during this period was the moment he decided to keep his urine in the fridge to prevent witches from stealing it.
Why the fridge though?
Oh dear. It remains unclear exactly why Bowie was so protective over his bodily fluids and what exactly he believed witches could do with it, but it paints a dark picture into his mindset during this time. The Thin White Duke's strange obsession with keeping his urine safe is allegedly to do with a fallout he had with Led Zeppelin's Jimmy Page.
Whoa. Both into big magic, though. Both of them were fully into
massive,
magic.
yeah. So it was a fallout he had with Jimmy Page a few months prior in his Manhattan townhouse. And, as a result, he became under the belief that the guitar god had sought to put his soul in danger.
Wow.
Bowie became convinced that because Page owned the home of black magic philosopher Aleister Crowley, or Crowley, it's probably even Crowley, isn't it? Who he believed was in cahoots with the witches and was paranoid they were out to get him. Therefore, he stocked up his fridge with his urine in an erratic bid to keep his soul pure.
You're going to run out of space real quick,
I know, well, I wouldn't have out 10 pisses a day, mate. Bowie reflected on this dark period and the damage it was doing to his body, as well as his appearance, to Dylan Jones for his book David Bowie, A Life. I've never really thought about it. I can't do it now. David Bowie. I've never really thought about whether or not a person can be too thin. Well, I certainly was at one point. Back in... I sound like flipping...
You dirty old man.
You dirty old man. We'll just cut that out a bit then. I'll just do it. I'll just read it.
Keep it in.
I've never really thought about whether or not a person can be too thin. Well, I certainly was at one point. Back in the 70s, when I just ate peppers and drank milk. I have various photographs of me looking skeletal, which reminds me how badly I behaved back in the 70s. Bowie honestly stated. It's remarkable that out of all the turmoil that was going on at every junction in Bowie's life, once he entered the studio, all that was left behind and he could do what he did best, make magical music. Of all the cocaine records that have tarnished many artists' reputations over the decades, Station to Station somehow did the opposite and is up there with Bowie's best. The godlike genius was, even by his own admission, going through a time which was nightmarish and the low point in his personal life where addiction became his escape from his marriage that was breaking down. Much like his relationship with the music industry, which had completely fallen out of love with him. It's a relief that this period only lasted a couple of years and that Bowie came out of the turbulent time better than ever, with a newfound sense of creativity, following his move to Berlin.
Oh, yeah, the Berlin years.
Yeah.
Fascinating period is that.
I know, it's just so fantastic. The music he was making was so ace. And I love Bowie. I'm not a big Bowie fan because I think if I say, I'm a big Bowie fan, you can just show me a million other people are much, much bigger Bowie fans than me. But I really appreciate his music and I listen to a lot
As
of
an
it.
artist, I'm saying, not only probably like Spiders from Mars I'd listen to, you know what I mean? Very easy to do. Going back, though, with Jimmy Page and the power of Jimmy Page, just to prophesise it, Robbie Williams is going to get it so hard soon. 'Cause they live next to each other, don't they? And they've had a big
they have, haven't they?
They've had this big land disturbance thing, you know, like one's wanting to, I don't know, planning permission, or I think Page is moaning about Robbie being too black. So much fucking going on, but I think Robbie's won the fucking court case.
Oh, well, he's dead then.
He is, in it. So I'm just prophesying now, something really evil, like an omen type of death occurs to me. And I would like it as well, because I hate Robbie Williams.
He's so mad up his own arse. Do you know what he reminds me of? Have you seen a Bowfinger?
Yeah.
Right, with Eddie Murphy in that, right? That's what Robbie Williams is like.
Yeah, just wandering around like Eddie Murphy.
Eddie Murphy in that.
He turned up he's got some links to Skinwalker Ranch as well, hasn't he? Yeah.
Well, he's really into the UFO world. Everything is paranormal. He's into that sort of stuff, but not in a good way, because I think he just believes everything.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think he's not right in his head.
Yeah, I don't think
he's off his rocky. He's not the sort of person you want as like the special envoy towards UFOs and stuff. He's Robbie Williams.
And just plain fact, don't fuck with Jimmy Page.
You
don't
fuck with the Page.
Not even out of the fear of him, just respect for the man. He's just like, Christ.
Jimmy effing Page.
You did Angels, mate, and then it's like, my God, come on.
He did Black Dog. He did Stairway, man.
Oh, good one though. Peppers and Milk though with Bowie. I don't ever understand what kind of
Imagine.
stink and
Imagine the tricky little poos he's doing.
Oh,
it's like
no.
little rabbit shits, sort of stinky little rabbit shits, like black tar.
Oh, just spat out. It was like, you know those Texans, you know, when they like chewed the chewing back in. It's like, oh,
It's another Bowie turd.
He's like upstairs.
But anyway, I think I need a cold drink anyway before I get going on this. So
Yeah.
it's like,
I need a massive glass of water. I think,
okay,
because
I've
I'm
got
getting
some in the
busy.
fridge anyway. I'll get.
Yeah.
What's this in fridge? It's bloody Robo Pete's piss.
Oh, look how orange it's like Tizer.
Oh,
Mucky
he's
gate.
even labelled it up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. What's the Robo Pete?
I think I might have drunk some of that.
Well, I tell you what, I'm just thinking now. Robo Pete, he only appeared on this island after David Bowie died.
Maybe he is. Maybe he's the Starman.
Maybe he's the thin white Duke. He's not white or anything.
No,
he's
he's
not
like
that thin. He's got a right belly on
grubby.
it. Well, like all decadence that you've been doing here, though, and it could be anything. Let's get a tidy up, kid, and I'll get that chip off the rocks.
Yeah, do that first.
So it's time for us to say goodbye. So it's a big bye from Matt.
It's a big Benny bye-bye from Benny. Take care, guys.
You're never going to get this right.
There are 3 ways you may contact Kraken Cove. Either by email at krakencovepodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter at Kraken Cove, or Instagram at Kraken Cove Pod. Ha ha!